There's a silent, almost invisible barrier that stands between the vast majority of humanity and the realization of their grandest dreams. It's not a physical wall nor an insurmountable external obstacle, but an insidious psychological threshold that few ever truly cross. It's the point where initial enthusiasm collides with the cold, hard reality of resistance, where the seductive allure of novelty gives way to the arduous demands of consistency. This is the crucible of perseverance, the proving ground where intentions are forged into iron conviction or allowed to melt into the puddle of regret. Most people with noble aspirations and genuine desire embark on their journeys with a surge of energy, a burst of optimism that feels almost invincible. They declare their goals, sketch out their plans, and for a fleeting moment they taste the intoxicating flavor of what could be. But then the inevitable happens. The path becomes steeper. The foreseen challenges morph into unforeseen monsters. The promised ease of progress dissolves into the grinding reality of daily effort, doubt, and disappointment. And it is at this precise juncture, this moment of reckoning, that the vast majority falter, stumble, and ultimately retreat. They fail to persevere. Why? Why do so many individuals, armed with intelligence, talent, and initial drive, capitulate precisely when the greatest breakthroughs are often just around the corner? It is not due to a lack of ability nor a fundamental flaw in their character. It is due to a profound yet often unexamined misunderstanding of the true nature of perseverance itself. They see it as a struggle against something rather than a powerful active force for something. They perceive it as brute force, stubbornness, rather than the intelligent strategic application of will. This insidious breakdown in perseverance stems from a series of psychological miscalibrations, a fundamental divergence from the operating system that governs the lives of true titans and relentless achievers. It begins, as all things do, with a fractured mindset. The average mindset, untrained and undisciplined, is exquisitely attuned to immediate gratification and the avoidance of discomfort. It is conditioned by a world that often celebrates instant success and demonizes struggle. When a challenge arises, when the path becomes thorny, this default mindset screams for retreat. It whispers insidious doubts, magnifies difficulties, and conjures compelling reasons to stop, to rest, to abandon the endeavor altogether. It interprets resistance as a sign of futility, rather than an inherent necessary component of any worthwhile journey. Think of the contrast between a fragile sapling and a mighty oak. The sapling, encountering its first harsh winds, its first prolonged drought, might wither and die. Its delicate root system, its tender bark, its undeveloped resilience are simply not equipped to withstand the challenge. Its mindset, if you will, is one of surrender in the face of adversity. The oak, however, a monument to centuries of perseverance, has weathered countless storms. Each gale, each frost, each period of drought, rather than destroying it, has forced its roots deeper, strengthened its trunk, and refined its resilience. Its very existence is a testament to an unyielding mindset that interprets challenge not as destruction, but as a forging process. The common individual, when faced with an obstacle, often defaults to a reactive mode. They feel the pain, the frustration, the exhaustion, and their mind immediately begins searching for an escape route, a justification for quitting. They allow external circumstances or internal discomfort to dictate their trajectory. Their mental energy, instead of being directed towards problem solving or finding a way through, is consumed by the internal monologue of doubt and surrender. To cultivate true perseverance, your mindset must fundamentally shift from one of avoidance to one of embracing challenge. You must consciously reframe adversity not as a personal attack or a sign of failure, but as an indispensable part of the process, a necessary test of your resolve, a crucial teacher providing invaluable lessons. This means developing a mental toughness that sees obstacles not as impenetrable walls, but as intellectual puzzles to be solved, as opportunities for creative breakthroughs, as crucibles in which your true strength is forged. This requires an almost audacious certainty, a profound belief. The very foundation upon which unyielding perseverance is built is the unshakable force of belief. What do you truly, unequivocally believe about your capacity to overcome challenges, about the inevitability of reaching your desired outcome, and about the intrinsic value of staying the course, even when the evidence seems to scream otherwise? For most, belief is a fragile, conditional thing, easily shattered by the first significant setback, the sting of criticism, or the prolonged absence of tangible results. They might hope they can persevere, but they don't believe it with the fiery conviction necessary to propel them through the brutal valleys of doubt and despair. When the path darkens, their flickering belief becomes a self-fulfilling prophecy of surrender. But what if your belief in your own capacity to persevere in the ultimate triumph of your well-directed efforts was so profound, so deeply ingrained in your very operating system, that it became an unassailable fortress against the assaults of adversity? What if you truly, unequivocally believed that every challenge you encounter, no matter how daunting, is merely a test designed to strengthen your resolve, a temporary barrier destined to crumble before your unyielding purpose? Consider the relentless journey of Abraham Lincoln, a man whose life was a stark, brutal testament to the power of unyielding belief in the face of monumental challenges and heartbreaking defeats. He experienced multiple business failures, suffered numerous political rejections, including losses for state legislature, Congress, and Senate, endured profound personal tragedies, including the death of his children, and wrestled with debilitating depression. Yet through it all, he maintained an almost superhuman belief in his ultimate purpose, in the enduring strength of the Union, and in his inherent capacity to lead. When others would have crumbled under the weight of such repeated failures and sorrow, Lincoln found within himself an inexhaustible wellspring of perseverance, fueled by a conviction so deep it transcended immediate circumstances. His actions, often met with fierce resistance and widespread skepticism, were driven by a profound belief that every effort, every decision, however difficult or unpopular, was contributing to a greater good, building towards a destined unified outcome. He didn't merely try to persevere. He believed in the efficacy of his relentless, consistent efforts, even when others had lost all faith. Your perseverance must be fueled by this kind of unwavering belief. It must be a stubborn, relentless knowing that when you commit to a purpose, when you direct your energy with conviction, and when you refuse to be swayed by temporary defeat, the universe conspires to meet you. This isn't about blind optimism or wishful thinking. It's about the psychological power of self-efficacy and the law of attraction in its most practical, applied sense. When you truly believe you can and will persevere, you approach challenges with greater courage, greater resourcefulness, and a profound emotional investment. This heightened quality of conviction naturally generates more potent solutions and more resilient effort. This bedrock of belief isn't cultivated through passive affirmation alone. It's built through repeated acts of courage, through taking bold, intentional steps despite the fear of failure, and then meticulously observing the positive feedback loops, no matter how small. Each time you push through discomfort, each time you find a solution to a problem that seemed insurmountable, each time you witness your own resilience in action, you reinforce the neural pathways of self-belief. You prove to yourself over and over again that your commitment to perseverance yields impact. This deep-seated conviction transforms your approach to every obstacle, ensuring that your journey is not just endured, but actively commanded, directly leading to unparalleled clarity. Clarity, when fused with unyielding perseverance, transforms vague hopes into precise executable strategies for overcoming obstacles and achieving audacious goals. Most people, when faced with a challenge, descend into a fog of ambiguity. They might recognize the problem, but they lack the sharp, undeniable definition of what exactly needs to be done, what specific levers need to be pulled, or what exact changes are required to navigate the difficulty. Their efforts, therefore, become diffused, lacking the laser focus required to cut through the noise and effectively overcome the resistance. They expend energy, yes, but without a clear target. That energy often dissipates harmlessly, leaving them exhausted and no closer to their breakthrough. But what if your perseverance was guided by a crystalline clarity, a vivid mental blueprint of not just your desired outcome, but also the specific steps required to overcome any challenge that stands in your way? What if you could articulate with unwavering certainty, not just what the obstacle is, but why it's there, how it impacts your path, and the exact measurable strategies required to dismantle it or navigate around it. Consider the precision of a master general planning a complex military campaign against a formidable foe. They don't just try hard to win. They demand absolute clarity on the enemy's strengths and weaknesses, the terrain, the available resources, and the specific objectives of each maneuver. Every troop movement, every logistical detail, every strategic flanking action is an intentional, calculated step, guided by that singular, clear blueprint for victory. They execute with ruthless precision, knowing exactly what each effort contributes to overcoming the enemy's resistance. Their perseverance is powered by profound clarity, not blind hope. Your journey through challenges, your commitment to perseverance requires this same level of strategic clarity. Before you attempt to push through or circumvent an obstacle, you must define with painstaking detail the nature of that obstacle. What exactly is the problem? Is it a skill gap, a resource deficit, a mindset block, or an external barrier? What are its precise characteristics? What immediate outcomes do you intend to achieve by persevering through this specific challenge? This isn't just an intellectual exercise, it's an act of strategic design. The more precisely you define the challenge and your intended method of overcoming it, the more accurately your perseverance can be directed and the more impactful your efforts will become. This clarity extends beyond the grand overarching challenges to the micro moments of daily resistance. Before you begin a difficult task, before you make a challenging phone call, before you tackle a complex problem, ask yourself, what is the specific intentional outcome I wish to achieve with this effort? What precise obstacle am I attempting to overcome with this action, and how will I know if I've succeeded? Without this moment of pre-action clarity, even the most diligent perseverance can be wasted motion. You might be busy struggling, but are you truly progressing? Are you building towards a specific breakthrough, or merely maintaining a state of frustrated activity? Cultivating this clarity is a daily discipline, a non-negotiable ritual for anyone committed to enduring. It means taking the time to pause, to analyze, to visualize the challenge overcome, and to articulate your specific strategies before you expend your energy. It means ruthlessly eliminating distractions that cloud your focus. It means having the courage to discard actions that, upon reflection, do not directly serve your clearly defined objective of overcoming the challenge. When your perseverance is illuminated by crystal clear clarity, your efforts are no longer desperate flailing. They become precision strikes, each one propelling you closer to realizing your grand vision. Your vision is the compelling magnetic North Star that guides your perseverance through the darkest storms and across the most treacherous terrains. It is the vivid, undeniable picture of your desired future, so intensely real in your mind that it pulls you forward when every fiber of your being screams to quit. But for most people, their vision is amorphous, a vague wish for something better, lacking the defined edges, the emotional resonance, and the crystalline detail necessary to truly anchor their efforts when challenges inevitably arise. Their perseverance, therefore, becomes easily extinguished as there is no powerfully articulated destination to truly pull them through the mire. But what if your vision was so vividly detailed, so emotionally charged, so undeniably compelling, that every act of perseverance, every push through discomfort, every sacrifice became a direct, powerful investment into its inevitable manifestation? What if you understood that your unwavering commitment to staying the course through challenges wasn't just about overcoming obstacles, but about bringing your magnificent mental blueprint into breathtaking, tangible reality? Consider the monumental vision that fueled Thomas Edison's relentless pursuit of practical electric lighting. His vision wasn't just a brighter room. It was a world transformed by accessible light, powering industry, extending productive hours, changing civilization itself. This wasn't a vague dream. He could see the factories humming, the cities aglow, the homes illuminated. When he failed to find the right filament 1,000 times, then 5,000, then 10,000. It was that profound, emotionally resonant vision, not just the scientific problem that pulled him through. Each failure was simply feedback, a data point in the relentless, disciplined pursuit of a crystal clear, world-changing vision. His perseverance was a direct, undeniable manifestation of his unyielding commitment to that incandescent future. Your journey through challenges, your commitment to perseverance, requires this same level of visionary intensity. Before you even contemplate starting, and especially when resistance rears its head, you must define with painstaking detail the vision that lies beyond the current struggle. What does your life look like when this challenge is overcome? What does that success feel like, sound like, mean for you and those you care about? How does this specific act of perseverance contribute to that larger, grander narrative of your future? This isn't mere fantasy. It's an act of deep psychological engineering, imbuing your actions with profound meaning and magnetic pull. This vision must be broken down into tangible milestones, each one a smaller, conquerable peak on the way to the summit. When faced with a particularly daunting challenge, refocus on the immediate peak just beyond that difficulty. Remind yourself, persevering through this specific struggle is the direct, necessary path to that tangible milestone, which in turn is a vital component of my ultimate vision. This disciplined linkage ensures that your perseverance is not just blind struggle, but purposeful, directed ascent. Cultivating and constantly reinforcing this vivid vision is a daily practice for those who truly endure. It means taking the time to visualize, to meditate on your desired future, to articulate your aspirations with such clarity and emotional intensity that they become more real than your current challenges. It means eliminating the voices of cynicism and doubt that seek to cloud your visionary landscape. When your perseverance is fueled by a burning, emotionally charged vision, your efforts are no longer about merely getting through. They become a passionate, relentless pursuit of a future that is already vivid in your mind. This powerful connection to a clear vision naturally reinforces your deepest purpose. Purpose is the indomitable core, the profound why that gives unbreakable meaning to your every act of perseverance. Without a clearly defined, deeply resonant purpose, even the most Herculean effort to overcome a challenge can feel hollow, a meaningless struggle devoid of true conviction. The average individual often engages in challenges driven by external pressures, a fleeting desire for success, or a vague sense of obligation. But when the going gets truly tough, when the obstacles multiply and the payoff seems distant, their efforts lack the profound resonance that comes from alignment with a higher calling, and their perseverance quickly erodes. They may endure for a while, but their struggle lacks the soul-deep conviction that transforms mere endurance into relentless progress. But what if every single act of perseverance you undertook, every challenge you faced down, every sacrifice you made, was a direct expression of your deepest, most profound purpose, a tangible step towards fulfilling the unique contribution you are here to make in the world? What if your struggle ceased to be mere toil and transformed into a sacred mission, where every effort, no matter how arduous, resonated with the profound significance of your calling, making retreat unthinkable? Consider the extraordinary perseverance of Harriet Tubman, who, driven by an unwavering purpose to free her people, risked her life countless times as a conductor on the Underground Railroad. Her vision was not just her own freedom, but the liberation of hundreds of others. Every perilous journey, every cold night spent in hiding, every confrontation with slave catchers was an act of profound perseverance fueled by an unshakable purpose. She faced unimaginable dangers, moments of despair, and threats to her life, yet her why was so deeply ingrained, so morally absolute, that quitting was simply not an option. Her efforts were not for personal gain, but for a purpose far greater than herself, giving her the strength to persevere through challenges that would break lesser individuals. Your journey through challenges, your commitment to perseverance must be rooted in this kind of unshakable purpose. Once you identify your fundamental, why, the unique value you bring, the problem you are destined to solve, the impact you are driven to create, every decision, every prioritization, every expenditure of your energy, especially in the face of resistance, must be filtered through the lens of that purpose. Ask yourself, when the urge to quit arises, does this challenge stand in the way of my purpose? Will persevering through this specifically serve my ultimate why? Is this the highest and best use of my resilience, given the profound contribution I am meant to make? When your perseverance is consciously aligned with your purpose, your efforts become infused with an almost spiritual energy, even when they demand immense personal cost. You tap into a reservoir of boundless strength because you are operating in complete congruence with your deepest values and your soul's calling. This alignment creates an internal resonance that makes external challenges seem smaller, less daunting, because your gaze is fixed on the monumental significance of your why. Your perseverance is no longer just about pushing through. It's about pushing through for something profoundly meaningful, making retreat an act of betrayal to your highest self. This powerful confluence of perseverance and purpose demands an unwavering commitment to discipline. Discipline, in the context of perseverance, is not the rigid, joyless imposition of external rules. It is the strategic, relentless channeling of your will, the unwavering commitment to purposeful action, even when motivation has evaporated, when doubts swarm your mind, or when the immediate pain of the challenge screams for surrender. For most people, discipline is a fragile muscle, easily fatigued and quick to atrophy under pressure. They might begin with bursts of enthusiasm fueled by a new goal, but when the novelty fades, when discomfort sets in, or when immediate gratification presents itself, their discipline crumbles. Their efforts to persevere become sporadic, inconsistent, a series of fits and starts that never generate the sustained momentum required to break through formidable obstacles. They interpret the need for discipline as a punishment rather than a powerful tool for liberation. But what if your discipline was an unbreakable, ironclad pact with your future self, an unwavering commitment to show up, to execute, to make every single effort count day in and day out, regardless of your emotional state or the apparent difficulty of the moment? What if you truly understood that discipline, especially when faced with adversity, is not about restricting your freedom, but about granting you the ultimate freedom to choose your destiny, to sculpt your reality, to manifest your deepest aspirations against all odds? This profound freedom is born from the liberating power of consistent, intentional action, strategically and purposefully directed towards your highest aspirations. Consider the almost fanatical discipline of Michael Jordan, perhaps the greatest basketball player of all time. His legendary status was not merely a product of innate talent. It was forged in the crucible of relentless, almost inhuman discipline, especially in the face of setbacks. He was cut from his high school varsity team, faced defeats, and later in his career lost championships. Yet each setback was met not with despair, but with a renewed, almost obsessive commitment to disciplined practice, often for hours beyond what was expected, refining every aspect of his game. His daily routine was a monument to discipline. Early mornings, endless drills, meticulous physical conditioning, repetitive shot practice, even when he already seemed perfect. He didn't just feel like practicing. He showed up consistently, relentlessly, because his discipline was fueled by an unshakable vision of mastery and a burning purpose to be the best. His efforts compounded not through magic, but through meticulous, painful, disciplined iteration, transforming him from a gifted athlete into an unparalleled icon of perseverance. Your journey through challenges, your commitment to perseverance demands this same caliber of unwavering discipline. It means establishing non-negotiable routines that support your intentional actions towards overcoming obstacles. It means showing up for your goals, even on days when inspiration is utterly absent, when the alarm feels like a siren of torture, when the comfortable couch beckons with an almost irresistible pull, or when the perceived outcome seems impossibly distant and unreachable. You show up consistently, relentlessly, because you understand deep in your bones that consistency born of discipline is the very bedrock of compounding effort, the relentless hammer that chips away at even the most formidable challenges. It means mastering the profound art of delayed gratification, consciously choosing the long-term gain of meaningful progress and breakthrough over the fleeting pleasure of immediate comfort or distracting indulgence. This discipline is not about achieving perfection in every single moment. It's about an unyielding commitment to intelligent persistence. It's about consciously choosing moment by moment to direct your energy toward your highest priorities, especially when easier, less impactful alternatives present themselves. It's about recognizing that every small, seemingly insignificant intentional action, when consistently applied through disciplined effort, creates an unstoppable momentum, building an inexorable wave that carries you towards and ultimately through the very heart of the challenge. Without this profound daily discipline, your clarity remains a theoretical ideal, your vision a distant dream, and your purpose a silent whisper, constantly overshadowed by the clamor of immediate demands and internal resistance. With it, your acts of perseverance become a powerful, unwavering force, building momentum towards the inevitable triumph of your will. This relentless application of discipline, especially in the crucible of challenges, culminates in undeniable, tangible results. Results are the undeniable, quantifiable, and irrefutable manifestation of your perseverance. Through challenges, the tangible proof that your unyielding efforts count, that your vision is solidifying, and that your purpose is being fulfilled despite the obstacles. For most people, results feel elusive, almost mystical, a matter of random luck, capricious fortune, or external circumstances largely beyond their control. They expend immense energy, dedicating countless hours to tasks, but without a clear, conscious connection between their specific, intentional actions and their desired outcomes, they often find themselves trapped in a perpetual cycle of strenuous effort without meaningful reward. They are forever busy, constantly striving, but rarely productive in a way that truly moves the needle towards their grandest aspirations, leading to eventual burnout and surrender. But what if you internalize the profound truth that results are never random, never arbitrary, but the direct, inevitable, and predictable consequence of focused, consistent, and purposefully directed effort, especially when applied with unyielding perseverance through adversity? What if you understood that every single intentional action you take, every moment you push through resistance, is a precise cause, meticulously designed to lead to a specific, measurable effect, a step closer to overcoming the challenge and achieving your desired outcome? Consider the meticulous scientific process of a dedicated team of engineers designing and building a state-of-the-art space rocket. Their ultimate goal is clear: to reach the moon, to launch a satellite into orbit, or to land a probe on Mars. Every calculation, every material selection, every structural decision, every line of code, every component tested each of these is an intentional action precisely designed to produce a specific, predictable result, a vehicle that performs flawlessly, capable of defying gravity and achieving its cosmic mission. They don't simply hope the rocket launches successfully. They design and build it with unwavering intentionality, understanding that the absolute integrity and success of the mission is a direct reflection of the precision, diligence, and tireless perseverance of their efforts through countless complex challenges and potential failures. Your journey to the apex, particularly when navigating significant challenges, demands that you become a profoundly results-oriented individual, not merely an activity-oriented one. This means constantly challenging yourself with penetrating questions before you even begin an effort or face a new obstacle. What specific, measurable result am I seeking to achieve by persevering through this particular challenge? How will I objectively measure its effectiveness? Is this effort, at this very moment, the most direct and efficient path to overcome this obstacle and move towards my desired outcome? Or is there a more powerful, more precise action I could take, having learned from previous attempts? This unwavering focus on tangible, measurable results transforms your acts of perseverance from mere struggle into strategic maneuvers, each one meticulously designed to achieve a specific, impactful outcome. When you consistently align your acts of perseverance with clearly defined, desired results, you create an incredibly potent, self-reinforcing feedback loop that dramatically accelerates your progress. Positive results, even small ones, reinforce your effective strategies, providing immediate validation and encouraging you to replicate and scale those winning approaches. Less than ideal results, what the average person might label as failures, setbacks, or disappointments, become invaluable, objective feedback. They are not indictments of your character or proof of your inadequacy, but precise data points prompting you to analyze your approach, identify weaknesses in your methods, and refine your intentional actions for the next, more intelligent, more powerful attempt. This iterative process, driven by relentless pursuit of tangible outcomes and an unwavering commitment to learning from every effect, ensures that your efforts, especially your acts of perseverance, are not just productive, but perpetually optimized for maximum impact and exponential progress. This isn't about chasing external validation or superficial metrics. It's about the deep, intrinsic satisfaction that comes from seeing your intentional, persevering efforts manifest in the real world, from witnessing your internal blueprint solidify into external reality despite all odds. It's about the undeniable, irrefutable proof that your focus, your discipline, and your purposeful action are indeed making every moment count, diligently building your future brick by deliberate, resilient brick. When results become the undeniable metric of your perseverance, your motivation soars to new heights, your belief solidifies into an unshakable conviction, and your entire journey accelerates with an unprecedented momentum, naturally cultivating a profound and expansive sense of gratitude. Gratitude, when deeply, authentically felt for the entire arduous yet profoundly rewarding process of perseverance through challenges and for its tangible, hard-won results, becomes a powerful, self-perpetuating engine. It amplifies further effort, deepens your unwavering commitment to your grand purpose, and reinforces your capacity to overcome. The average individual often struggles to genuinely feel gratitude until the grand destination is finally reached, until monumental, widely recognized success is unequivocally achieved, or until some external, large-scale validation is triumphantly received. They frequently overlook the daily victories, the subtle increments of progress, the inherent value of their consistent, often painful efforts, and thus tragically miss out on a constant, boundless source of intrinsic inspiration, energy, and renewal. Their focus remains rigidly fixed on the perceived gap between where they are and where they want to be, rather than appreciating the active, deliberate, and courageous steps they are taking to bridge that gap day by day through sheer force of will. But what if your heart overflowed with a profound, pervasive sense of gratitude for every single act of perseverance you undertook, for every focused thought that countered doubt, every disciplined choice to continue, every courageous step forward into the unknown, every moment you refused to quit? What if you cultivated an immense, soul-deep appreciation for every ounce of effort you expended, for every small, hard-won result you manifested, for every seemingly insurmountable challenge you overcame on your path to your apex? What if you recognized, with crystalline clarity, the immense privilege and profound responsibility of being able to consciously shape your destiny through deliberate, purposeful effort, actively choosing to move forward rather than being swept away by the currents of life or the storms of adversity? Consider the artist who finds boundless joy and profound satisfaction, not just in the unveiling of the finished masterpiece, the moment of public acclaim, but even more so in every single brushstroke, every precisely mixed color, every meticulously drawn line, every sculpted curve, every hour spent in solitary, painstaking creation. Their gratitude extends deeply to the process itself, to the sacred act of creation, to the divine opportunity to bring beauty, meaning, or innovation into the world through their dedicated, often challenging, intentional efforts. This deep, pervasive appreciation for the journey, for the unfolding of their vision through their own hands, fuels their passion, sustains their creative flow even through moments of paralyzing doubt or public indifference, and ensures their artistic output is imbued with a soul that resonates far beyond mere technical proficiency. Your arduous yet exhilarating journey to the apex, propelled by the unstoppable force of perseverance, offers countless profound opportunities for deep, soul-stirring gratitude. Cultivate the habit of being intensely grateful for the crystalline clarity you've gained from previous struggles, for the inspiring vision that now guides your every move, for the animating purpose that infuses meaning into your very existence and justifies every ounce of effort. Be profoundly grateful for the unwavering discipline that enables you to show up consistently, day after day, year after year, even when inspiration is absent, when the path seems arduous, or when the setbacks seem endless. And allow your heart to swell with genuine, overflowing appreciation for the results, no matter how seemingly small or incremental, that undeniably confirm your intentional efforts and your relentless perseverance are indeed counting, tangibly manifesting your dreams into reality, one breakthrough at a time. This gratitude is not a passive emotion. It is an active, dynamic force that exponentially reinforces your positive actions and your capacity to endure. When you consistently and genuinely appreciate the progress you make, the resilience you demonstrate, and the lessons you learn, no matter how seemingly insignificant, you are far more likely to stay committed to your grand purpose, far more likely to push through seemingly insurmountable challenges, and infinitely more likely to continue investing your precious energy with even greater focus and purpose. This powerful mindset of active appreciation creates an undeniable energetic resonance, a magnetic field that attracts more opportunities, more necessary resources, and more positive, synchronistic outcomes to your path. Your acts of perseverance become infused with a deep, abiding joy and profound meaning, ensuring that your journey to the apex is not just successful in terms of external achievement, but deeply, intrinsically fulfilling on every level of your being. This joyful and profound commitment to your path, fostered by gratitude, also cultivates an unwavering spirit of adaptability. Adaptability, far from being a weakness of indecision or a sign of wavering commitment, is the intelligent, dynamic refinement of your perseverance, ensuring that your efforts remain supremely potent, exquisitely relevant, and maximally effective in an ever-shifting, relentlessly dynamic world. The vast majority of people, when faced with challenges, tend to cling rigidly to initial plans, to ingrained routines, or to outdated strategies, seeing any deviation, any need for adjustment, as a failure of their original intention or a humiliating sign of weakness. They resist changing course, even when presented with new, undeniable information, unforeseen obstacles, or drastically shifting circumstances, leading to immense wasted effort, prolonged frustration, and tragically countless missed opportunities. Their acts of perseverance, though perhaps valiant in their stubbornness, become blindly repetitive, even when they have long ceased to be effective or aligned with evolving realities. They are like a ship stubbornly sailing directly into a powerful headwind, refusing to adjust its sails, instead of intelligently tacking and finding a more efficient, albeit different, path to its destination. Their refusal to adapt makes their perseverance futile. But what if your perseverance was imbued with a profound, almost fluid flexibility, a nimble, responsive intelligence to the constantly changing landscape of your environment, your industry, your personal growth, and the nature of the challenges themselves? What if you understood with crystalline clarity that true, effective perseverance means not just rigidly sticking to a preconceived plan, but intelligently, strategically, and courageously adjusting it based on the rich, constant, and often surprising feedback the world relentlessly provides? Consider a seasoned, masterful general leading their forces through a complex, unpredictable battlefield. Their ultimate intention is absolutely clear: to achieve victory, to secure their objectives. But they don't blindly follow a predetermined, rigid battle plan. Instead, they are acutely, constantly observing the subtle shifts in the enemy's movements, the rapidly changing terrain, the morale of their own troops, and the emergence of unforeseen threats or opportunities. Every tactical adjustment, every slight alteration of formation, every recalculation of their strategy, each of these is a meticulously planned, highly intentional act of perseverance designed with one singular purpose: to keep them on the most efficient, most effective, and safest path to their ultimate victory, even as circumstances radically change. Their profound adaptability ensures that their efforts are always counting, always moving them forward, regardless of unforeseen conditions or sudden environmental shifts. Their perseverance is powered by intelligent, responsive adjustment. Your journey to the apex, propelled by your unwavering perseverance, demands this same level of fluid, intelligent intentionality. The world is not static. Markets relentlessly shift. Technologies exponentially evolve. New and unforeseen challenges constantly emerge, and profound, unexpected opportunities often arise from the most unlikely places. Your initial intentional actions, formulated based on your current understanding and available information, are your best possible first steps in confronting a challenge. But you must remain exquisitely attuned to the feedback your acts of perseverance generate and the palpable changes in your broader environment. This means cultivating the willingness to quickly recalibrate your approach, to courageously pivot your entire strategy, or even to completely redesign your methods, all without abandoning your core, unwavering vision, or your profound, animating purpose. This intentional adaptability ensures that your efforts, especially your acts of perseverance, are never, ever wasted. When an intentional action doesn't yield the precise, desired result, you do not interpret it as a definitive failure of your intention or as a personal condemnation of your effort. Instead, you instantly recognize it as invaluable feedback, a precise data point that informs and refines your next, more intelligent, more targeted intentional action. It's about optimizing your efforts, about making them perpetually more effective in overcoming obstacles, not abandoning them in frustration. It's about being profoundly responsive without being merely reactive, making deliberate strategic adjustments that propel you forward with even greater precision and devastating effectiveness. This seamless, dynamic integration of adaptability with unwavering perseverance fundamentally fortifies your already formidable resilience. Resilience, in its truest, most profound, and ultimately liberating form, is not merely the passive capacity to absorb blows, to endure setbacks, or to simply bounce back from adversity. It is the unwavering, active, and highly intentional commitment to purposeful action in the relentless face of every single challenge, extracting vital lessons from every fall, every misstep, every unexpected detour, and then strategically, intentionally using those lessons to fuel your next, more powerful, more intelligent ascent. For the vast majority of people, resilience is a fleeting, conditional quality. They might exhibit it in small doses, but when faced with a significant failure, a crushing disappointment, or a relentless barrage of obstacles, their resolve crumbles, their motivation extinguishes, and they ultimately halt their intentional efforts, leaving their grandest dreams unfulfilled. They interpret obstacles not as temporary hurdles or valuable feedback for growth, but as definitive, insurmountable roadblocks, often abandoning their path precisely when the greatest learning and the most significant breakthroughs are just within reach. But what if your resilience was an indomitable force of nature, an unbreakable, almost sacred pact with your highest purpose, enabling you to continue taking courageous, intentional action, even when the path is shrouded in seemingly impenetrable doubt, when the odds seem overwhelmingly stacked against you, when resources dwindle, and when external circumstances scream for you to quit and retreat? What if every single setback, every profound disappointment, every perceived failure only served to clarify your intention with crystalline precision, to sharpen your focus to a laser point, and to fundamentally strengthen your unyielding resolve to act with even greater purpose, greater wisdom, and greater power, making surrender an emotional impossibility? Consider the unwavering, almost mythical resilience of Abraham Lincoln during the brutal, agonizing years of the American Civil War. His life was a stark, brutal testament to enduring setback after setback, loss after loss, both personal and professional, long before he ascended to the highest office. As president, he faced unimaginable political pressure, constant venomous criticism from all sides, devastating losses on the battlefield that cost hundreds of thousands of lives, profound personal tragedy in his own family with the death of his beloved son, and the very real existential threat of the nation's permanent dissolution. Yet, his intentional actions, from the monumental, controversial decision to issue the Emancipation Proclamation, a move met with furious opposition, to the profound, unifying words of the Gettysburg Address, delivered in the midst of crushing grief and widespread doubt, were never, ever abandoned. Each military defeat, each moment of widespread despair, each strategic failure was met not with surrender, but with a deeper, almost spiritual commitment to his core purpose, preserving the Union and ultimately upholding human freedom. He possessed an unyielding resolve to find a new path forward, to learn from the brutal errors of war and politics, and to continue taking deliberate, intentional steps towards his magnificent, unifying vision. His resilience was not simply about not giving up. It was a profound, active testament to the power of intentional action, persistently, intelligently, and courageously applied despite the most brutal, soul-crushing trials imaginable. Your own formidable journey to the apex will undoubtedly test your resilience in ways you cannot yet imagine, often beyond what you believe you can withstand. There will be moments when your intentional actions don't yield the immediate desired results, when doors slam shut with deafening finality, when vital resources seem to vanish into thin air, and when your own energy and motivation mysteriously wane to the point of exhaustion. In these moments, your profound understanding of the true nature of intentional action, that every effort counts, even those that appear to fail, becomes your most powerful anchor, your unbreakable compass. You will fiercely refuse to let external circumstances or temporary setbacks dictate your internal drive or your ultimate direction. You will consciously, deliberately choose to analyze the setback with detached objectivity, extract the invaluable, often painful lessons it offers, and then, with renewed purpose, formulate your next, more powerful, more intelligent, intentional action. This isn't about mindless, brute force persistence that blindly beats your head against a brick wall. It's about intelligent, purpose-driven resilience that learns from every impact, every crack in the wall, and finds a new, more effective way around or through it. It's about the conscious, intentional act of picking yourself up, brushing yourself off, and strategically determining the most impactful, most effective next step forward, even when your emotions are screaming for you to retreat, to curl up, to surrender. Every single time you face adversity head-on and consciously choose to act with renewed intention, every time you transform a perceived failure into a precise learning opportunity, you are forging the very steel of your own unyielding resilience. You are proving to yourself through undeniable visceral experience that your commitment to making every effort count transcends any external challenge, any temporary defeat. This relentless, intentional forward momentum, consistently refined by your growing resilience, naturally and inevitably leads to profound and accelerated learning. Learning in its deepest, most transformative, and most powerful form is not a passive reception of information. It is the dynamic, continuous, and highly conscious cycle of intentional action, keen, objective observation, and intelligent, conscious integration of insights drawn from every single experience, especially those that fall short of your expectations or present formidable challenges. The average individual often views learning as a formal, time-bound activity, largely confined to classrooms, structured courses, or the pages of a book, often detached from the continuous, unfolding flow of their daily life and real-world efforts. They accumulate facts and figures, they complete assignments, they might even earn degrees, but they often fail to apply this knowledge intentionally in the dynamic crucible of life, or crucially, to learn from the immediate, invaluable, and often brutal feedback generated by their actions and interactions in the pursuit of their goals. Their learning remains largely theoretical, inert, and dangerously disconnected from the vibrant, iterative process of creation, problem-solving, and achievement. But what if every single intentional action you took whether it yielded immediate, resounding success or a temporary, frustrating setback, was viewed as a deliberate, scientific experimenta, meticulously designed source of invaluable data, engineered to expand your knowledge, refine your skills, and perpetually optimize your approach? What if you cultivated an insatiable, almost obsessive hunger to learn from every single effort, every outcome, every interaction, transforming your entire life, every moment, every challenge, into a dynamic, living classroom where profound lessons are constantly being revealed, waiting for your intentional absorption and application? Consider the relentless, often brutally honest learning curve of a highly successful startup founder navigating the treacherous, unpredictable waters of innovation and market disruption. Their initial product launch, their first marketing campaign, their very first pitch to investors, each of these is an intentional action based on a specific hypothesis about what the market needs, how it will respond, or what problem they can uniquely solve. The market's reaction, whether enthusiastically positive or utterly indifferent, or worse, negative, is immediate, undeniable, and often harsh feedback. But they don't just react emotionally to this feedback by quitting or despairing. They learn from it. They conduct intensive user interviews, meticulously analyze granular data on usage patterns, dissect sales figures, and intentionally adjust their product features, refine their marketing messages, recalibrate their pricing strategies, and even courageously pivot their entire business model based on the raw, unfiltered, and often painful lessons learned. This iterative, highly disciplined process of rapid, intentional action and even more rapid, intelligent learning is precisely what allows them to innovate at lightning speed, to pivot effectively when necessary, and to ultimately build a successful, resilient, and impactful enterprise, often outmaneuvering much larger, slower, and less adaptable competitors. Your journey to the apex, particularly your capacity to persevere through challenges, is fundamentally a continuous process of becoming, of constant evolution, of perpetual mastery. Every single intentional action you take, regardless of its immediate outcome, generates feedback. Precise, direct, and often immediate information about what works, what doesn't work, what needs refinement, what underlying assumptions were flawed, and where new unforeseen opportunities lie hidden, waiting to be discovered. To truly make every effort count, to ensure that no moment of your precious time is wasted, and to relentlessly improve your ability to persevere, you must cultivate an unwavering, almost religious commitment to learning from this constant, relentless stream of feedback. This profound commitment manifests in three critical, interconnected phases of learning that fuel your perseverance. Pre-action learning. This involves the intentional act of thorough research, meticulous planning, and strategic foresight before you initiate any significant action, especially when facing a known challenge. You leverage existing knowledge, study past successes and failures, your own and others, consult experts, and anticipate potential challenges, seeking to make your first move as informed, precise, and effective as possible. You are learning before doing, optimizing your initial intentional action to minimize wasted effort and maximize early success. In action learning, this demands that you remain profoundly present, acutely observant, and highly attuned as you are taking action and engaging with the challenge. You notice subtle cues from the environment, unexpected reactions from others, the nuances of interactions, and any immediate deviations from your planned outcome. You are constantly monitoring, adjusting, and learning while doing, allowing for on-the-fly corrections, improvisation, and a deeper, more visceral comprehension of the dynamics at play within the challenge itself. Post-action learning. This is the most crucial yet often overlooked phase of the learning cycle, particularly after a setback. It requires you to critically, objectively, and without self-condemnation reflect on the results of your intentional actions. You meticulously analyze what went well, what could be significantly improved, what underlying assumptions about the challenge were flawed, and what entirely new insights or questions emerged from the experience. You are learning after doing, transforming every experience, especially every perceived failure or difficulty, into a profound, actionable lesson that meticulously refines and empowers your next steps, ensuring that your perseverance is not just stubborn, but intelligently directed. This relentless, integrated commitment to learning transforms your intentional actions, especially those taken in the teeth of a challenge, from mere effort into intelligent, adaptive progress. You stop making the same mistakes repeatedly, trapped in debilitating cycles of frustration and wasted energy. Instead, each effort becomes a smarter, more targeted, more effective step towards your goals. You become a master strategist of your own life, perpetually refining your approach, honing your skills to a razor's edge, and expanding your capabilities to levels you once thought impossible. This continuous, profound learning, driven by your intentional actions and forged in the fires of perseverance, ensures that your climb is not just forward momentum, but consistently, exponentially upward, perpetually elevating you towards your extraordinary legacy. Legacy is not merely the sum total of what you leave behind in terms of material possessions, accumulated wealth, or even personal achievements. It is the profound, indelible impact you consciously create through a lifetime of intentional action, meticulously guided by an unwavering purpose, refined by relentless learning from every challenge, and amplified by a boundless spirit of contribution that extends far beyond your immediate existence. For the vast majority of people, the concept of legacy might seem distant, an abstract notion reserved for historical figures, or simply a vague, hopeful aspiration for future remembrance, without concrete action in the present. Their efforts, while often sincere and well-intended, too frequently lack the deep alignment, the sustained compounding power, and the conscious foresight necessary to leave a truly indelible, transformative mark on the world. They may contribute in small ways, but their cumulative impact rarely reverberates across generations or fundamentally shifts the landscape of their chosen field. Their failure to persevere through the challenges of consistent, purpose-driven action ultimately limits the scope of their lasting influence. But what if every single intentional action you took from this very moment forward, every act of perseverance in the face of daunting odds, was viewed as a deliberate, masterful brushstroke on the vast, unfolding canvas of your enduring legacy, contributing piece by meticulous piece to a magnificent masterpiece that transcends your individual existence and continues to inspire, uplift, and influence countless lives long after you are gone? What if you understood with crystalline clarity that your purpose-driven efforts, consistently applied, intelligently refined through the painful yet invaluable lessons of experience, and strategically directed, are actively, powerfully shaping the future, inspiring countless others, and creating a ripple effect that extends far beyond your own lifetime, touching lives, solving systemic problems, and paving the way for progress in ways you can scarcely imagine? Consider the immense, multifaceted legacy of figures like Andrew Carnegie. He built an industrial empire through relentless, disciplined, intentional action, driven by an almost singular vision for steel and an unyielding purpose to dominate an industry that was reshaping the world. He faced brutal competition, economic downturns, labor unrest, and personal setbacks, yet his perseverance was unyielding. But his true, lasting legacy, the one that resonates powerfully even today, was not just his monumental wealth or even the industrial revolution he helped ignite. It was his profound, revolutionary philanthropic work, his conscious, intentional actions to establish thousands of free public libraries across America and the world, to found groundbreaking universities, to promote peace initiatives, and to invest in scientific research and public health. His efforts in the latter part of his life were deliberately and strategically focused on creating a lasting, positive impact, ensuring his vast wealth and the lessons learned through decades of perseverance served humanity long after he passed from the scene. His legacy was not an accident. It was a conscious, intentional construction, built brick by deliberate, purposeful brick, fueled by a deep understanding that true Enduring wealth lies in what you give and what you inspire, forged in the fires of unwavering perseverance. Your journey to the apex is not just about your personal achievement, your individual success, or your own self-actualization. It is fundamentally about the unique, irreplaceable imprint you are destined to leave on the world, the positive change you are called to embody. This legacy is not built in grand, isolated, spontaneous gestures, nor is it achieved by avoiding challenges. Instead, it is constructed through the consistent, intentional application of your unique gifts, your profound talents, and your hard-won insights day in and day out, especially when tested. It is built through every complex problem you solve, every individual life you inspire, every piece of enduring value you create, every seed of positive, transformative change you painstakingly plant through your deliberate, focused efforts, and every challenge you courageously persevere through. This profound awareness of legacy demands that you live with an acute, pervasive awareness of the long game. It means constantly asking yourself before every major decision, before every significant effort, and especially when confronted by a daunting challenge, how does this intentional action, this act of perseverance, contribute not just to my immediate goals, to my short-term desires, but to the larger, more profound story I wish to tell with my entire life? How will this specific effort, this decision to push through, applied right now, resonate, impact, or inspire beyond my immediate sphere of influence, potentially for generations to come? When you consciously infuse your intentional actions and your acts of perseverance with this powerful, future-oriented awareness of legacy, your efforts take on an exponential, almost divine significance. They become more than just tasks on a to-do list. They become acts of profound creation, acts of selfless service, acts of enduring, transformative influence that shape the very fabric of society, paving the way for those who follow. The failure to persevere, then, is not merely a personal shortcoming. It is a profound forfeiture of potential legacy, a silent surrender to the comfortable current of mediocrity. The power to persevere, conversely, is not a theoretical concept. It is the fundamental engine of human progress, the secret language spoken by those who defy the ordinary, who refuse to succumb to the currents of challenge, and who consciously, meticulously sculpt their own magnificent, impactful destinies. It is the unwavering choice to be a deliberate creator of your reality, not merely a passive consumer of circumstances, to be a powerful directing force of nature, not merely a leaf tossed aimlessly in the wind. So, rise. From this moment forward, embrace the profound responsibility and the exhilarating freedom that come with committing to unwavering perseverance. Let there be no more aimless drifting. No more scattered, unfocused efforts, no more mistaking busyness for true, meaningful progress. Define your purpose with fiery clarity that illuminates your path. Envision your future with vivid, undeniable detail that pulls you forward with magnetic force. Then, with an unwavering, deeply internalized belief in your capacity, apply your energy, your talent, and your time with surgical precision, with relentless discipline, and with joyful gratitude. Make every single effort count, especially when the path is toughest. Every thought you entertain, let it be intentional, reinforcing your resolve. Every word you utter, let it be purposeful, affirming your commitment. Every deed you perform, let it be deliberate, powerful, and impeccably aligned with the magnificent trajectory you are destined to carve. The world awaits the indelible mark of your perseverance. Go forth and build your extraordinary, lasting legacy, one deliberate, resilient action at a time. The power is not outside you, it resides within, waiting for you to wield it with unwavering intent and to shape a future that truly makes every effort count, transforming challenges into triumphs.